All right, here we go. In 5, 4.
Well, good afternoon, Arkansas. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Arkansas Weather Network. My name is Zachary Hall, otherwise known as the Arkansas Storm Tracker. I'm joined by meteorologist Blaze Thomas. Blaze, we're live today, this afternoon. We wanted to do a live update anyways, but even better reason, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for our state capital, Little Rock. Lots of people in the Little Rock metro area, especially at 4:30. So not the greatest time for a severe storm to be ongoing here. Blaze, I think the biggest concern here, haven't had a chance to look at the National Weather Service text, but I think the biggest concern is strong winds.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct, Zach. That's kind of why they issued that severe thunderstorm warning. And with the time, we're getting closer to that 5 o'clock traffic. And if you've got gusty winds on the interstate, that's not good. So that scenario, I'm hoping that this storm doesn't hold together as long as what kind of some of the simulations look like. But here's the thing about these storms and the storms today. Likely these storms are going to get strong. They're going to become strong to severe. They're going to produce some gusty winds, and they're going to fall apart. And we're hoping that these storms, this one in particular, falls apart pretty quick. We've also got a couple, let me double check here. But last check, we were also tracking a severe thunderstorm warning for Miller and Lafayette County. And the storm itself is on the Arkansas-Louisiana border, according to what we're seeing on radar.
Yes,
there's a lot of lightning in the area. So
yeah, that's a strong storm. I've been watching that storm for quite a while. I think like most of these storms, the main concern there was stronger wind gust. But yes, we do have that storm down in Miller and Lafayette County, but really most immediate, imminent concern as that storm moves out of Arkansas. Of course, we have other storms as well across the state, as well forecasted. Blaze, you'll notice there are a pretty large outflow boundary that extends all the way from Russellville southeast toward Maumelle, Jacksonville, and over to 40. That's an interesting little feature there. We'll see how much thunderstorm activity that kicks up as well. So I'm trying to get our chat pulled up, Blaze. I think I've almost got it here.
okay.
I think I've almost got it here. Yes, I just got a comment from Tanya Thompson saying she can currently see a big cloud, but it's far away. So the comments are working. I was just making sure that, guys, if you're just now joining, of course, we've been live for a few minutes now, myself and Blaze here on the Arkansas Weather Network. We appreciate you joining. This is the only severe thunderstorm in central Arkansas. We have a severe thunderstorm warning down in Miller and Lafayette County as well. Guys, we don't generally go live for every severe thunderstorm. We would be live all the time if we did, but when it's impacting quite literally the state capital of Arkansas, there are hundreds of thousands of people in this area right now, especially at drive time coming soon. We're going to be live and talking about it to make sure that people are aware, especially with the threat of damaging winds, Blaze.
Yeah, I'm pulling up Slack right now to see if the NWS is talking any more about this storm. So it looks like they put out an update just a couple moments ago and said downburst signature on radar velocity data near Pinnacle Mountain, which you can see that, but it looks less defined as what it previously looked like. So, and basically what that means, guys, is that the storms, they get really strong today and then they're going to collapse. And as they collapse, that wind is going to go out to the surface. And that's kind of the signature we're seeing on radar, which does lead to some damage. There could be some damaging winds with this, and that's why there's that severe thunderstorm warning. So this storm overall may not be producing severe winds, but and it looks like we got a new special weather statement probably on the storm near Cabot, it looks like, because there's another storm just to the north of it with some small hail.
Yeah, we just had a comment from somebody in White County asking about storms. Most of this is to the southwest and drifting south at this time. All of this activity today, Blaze, is drifting southeast, kind of southerly movement to it. You can see it sagging southward. We do want to remind everyone we have severe thunderstorm watches in South Arkansas, Union County, Columbia County, Miller, and Lafayette County. You can see some severe thunderstorm warnings down there too, just south of Texarkana. We also, of course, have our severe thunderstorm warning that does include the Little Rock metro area, Pulaski County for the most part. And then we do have some other thunderstorms about all the way west toward Fort Smith on I-40. And then, of course, Blaze, up in your neck of the woods, we have some rain and thunder there near Clinton. That's all moving south. And that's really it. Not too bad right now. I feel like it's starting to fill in as we go through the afternoon. But if you're in Pulaski County and you're joining, especially if you're using the Arkansas Weather Network mobile app, we hope you are, and you got the warning information, this is the storm that you were receiving the warning information for. Worse if it's now from Little Rock, North Little Rock, west on 10 there just south of Maumelle.
The good news is, Zach, just looking at overall, which I'm looking at this from a different radar screen, but there was several special weather statements across the state, and almost every one of them have been allowed to expire. So that's great news. That kind of tells us that this is transitioning more into a heavy rain event for the areas that have already seen storms. The same areas that are seeing storms right now saw some storms earlier this morning, and I think that's led to less storm fuel in the area. But still, I think our strongest storm we got on radar right now is this Pinnacle storm, Zach.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of questions from people, is it coming to fill in the blank, put in any county or city or whatever it might be. Folks, looking at the radar, it's really hard to give you exacts on cities, counties, etc., due to how scattered these storms are, or even isolated at times. I mean, some of these storms are real small, really, when you look at it on a grand scale, so it's tough to say. I do think the chances are best south of I-40 today for severe weather. I know we have a storm there, near Little Rock, but that's why we have severe thunderstorm watches too down to the south. We're watching that closely. Tim Williams and somebody else asked about Jacksonville. We do have rain and thunder, of course, there in Jacksonville, Cabot, but the severe thunderstorm warning, and mainly the reason we are live with you right now, is for the severe thunderstorm warning in Pulaski County, North Little Rock, south of Maumelle, parts of Sherwood, and so on. It is severe.
I'm real curious, Zach, with this outflow boundary that we've got moving through. I wonder if this is going to undercut that.
I don't know. I would imagine it's likely going to initiate some more storms, that's for sure. But yeah, it will be interesting. What Blaze is referencing here, guys, I'll circle it so we can kind of cue you in. You can see this line sagging southward. This is an outflow boundary, basically rain-cooled air pushing south. Think of it like a mini cold front. And this does a really good job on these warm summer days of initiating new storms. It's like a cold front. Really cool to watch on radar, and we'll see what it does, see what happens to our storm in Little Rock with that outflow boundary sagging south. So.
I'm just looking at any more comments here.
Yeah, we got a comment from Dana
asking,
Taylor, said, what hail must Little Rock Blaze? So, getting a report of hail.
Yeah.
Probably not real big, but.
Latest radar scan is decreasing the size of hail just a little bit. But boy, this is so close to the radar site that it's interesting. But the National Weather Service advised that there's another signature of wind that is just to the west of North Little Rock. So it almost kind of looks like you've got the main storm that they issued the severe thunderstorm warning with, and then there's a storm just to the southeast of it, and that is getting strong too. So, but could both these storms fight against each other and maybe kill both of them? I don't know. I'm real curious to see what this outflow boundary does with this.
It's outflow boundary mania here in Arkansas during the summertime. It's always interesting to see how the outflow can interact and create new storms and hurt storms and whatnot. Someone asked what website we're using. It's not a website. This is a program that the Arkansas Weather Network operates. It's called Barron. Karen Skipworth says, any close to Boonville? There is some showers and storms off to the west near Fort Smith, but nothing imminent in Boonville at this time. People asking about walking in North Little Rock or commuting in North Little Rock at 5. Should I wait for this to pass? I wouldn't blame you, especially if you're not comfortable driving in a strong storm, because this is, Blaze, to me, it looks like it's kind of starting to fill in here. North Little Rock,
yeah.
430 interchange, 630, 65 up to 40. So right in the middle of everything. It's just kind of unfortunate.
I got another storm that kind of want to keep an eye on just to the west of Cabot. I'm not going to be surprised if we see a severe thunderstorm warning coming for that. That storm's gotten really strong over the last couple radar scans.
Yeah, this is a pretty strong storm. James just sent us a video. Meteorologist James Bryan, our partner, he's not home right now, of this storm. It's a pretty strong storm. We also had a comment from, where was it? Somebody in Little Rock. Garrett Family 847 on YouTube said had big hail on Cantrell in Little Rock, Blaze. So,
wow.
I don't have any. I haven't been able to check my Facebook inbox, but I would imagine if we did have big hail, I'll probably have some photos of it. We did get some damage from earlier in Fayetteville, wind damage. A tree fell on a mobile home and did significant damage to the mobile home, so that's unfortunate. Hopefully everybody's okay. Christy Hughes says got some pretty big hail on Chenal, Highway 10 area. So that's another comment, Blaze. That's 3 now from the same area, big hail.
Well, and and here's the thing, guys. Like he was saying, Zach, that there was damage. You said near Fayetteville. The reason for that is these storms got really strong, then they collapsed on themselves, and then that kind of pushed all that wind to the surface, and that's what led to the damage. So, and that's a concern with these type of storms because you don't have much wind shear, so these storms, they don't hold together very long. They become strong to severe really fast. They produce severe storms, and then they fall apart. But as they fall apart, the storm's got to go somewhere, and all that energy and wind pushes out to the surface, and that's what leads to your increased winds. And I also think that's why you see more severe thunderstorm warnings sometimes in the summer for the microburst potential or downburst, however you want to say it. I'm just checking to see any more. The National Weather Service is continuing severe thunderstorm warning for Faulkner, Pulaski, and Saline.
Yeah, Tiffany Huckabee said that the wind is starting to pick up in Sherwood. Kristen Duncan says, I just drove through a hailstorm in all caps. I'm guessing it was some larger hail coming into Salgahachia. I don't know how to say it. I never know how to say it. I'm not even going to say it anymore. Salgahachia, we'll just put it that way. We also got a report from Michael Caldwell that power is out in Judsonia, still thundering, and the sun is shining now. So, Blaze, it sounds to me like these storms are packing a little bit of a punch when they move in. This is the only severe thunderstorm warning in central Arkansas, but we do have another severe thunderstorm warning in parts of Miller and Lafayette County. But Blaze, this looks like it's moving out of Arkansas and into Louisiana here relatively soon.
We got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Lone Oak, Pulaski County.
Okay. We'll zoom back in on that real quick for you.
So that's fixing to pop up on the map momentarily. Yeah, just an extension. I will say I'm becoming very concerned, Zach, about the wind potential with this storm that is literally just to the west of Little Rock. Like this is concerning.
Yeah, and it's one of the most highly populated parts of Arkansas. So, folks, we're going to be live for something like this: Kamek Village, Pulaski Heights, Brownwood Terrace, of course, Little Rock, North Little Rock, Lakewood, Sherwood, Hickory Hills, Hillsboro, Parkway Place, Shady Grove. This storm is kind of all over the place from Pinnacle all the way east to Little Rock. This includes 630, it includes 430, and of course parts of I-40 as well. Looking downstream, of course, I know some of you aren't watching that Little Rock, but Keogh, England, south of Lone Oak. This does include parts of I-40 from Carlisle west. Doesn't include Carlisle, but from that area west into Sherwood, of course, Little Rock, Wrightsville, and 165 southeast. So, Blaze, a lot going on here in this little section of Arkansas, this little cluster.
Yeah, and there's a lot of storm fuel down there, which is leading to these storms continuing to stay strong to severe. I bet we're going to get more reports. Seeing numerous signs of downburst potential, one west of Little Rock and then another one developing near Sweet Home. And so I think we're going to get some more reports pretty quick of damage.
Blaze, I'm going to get some stuff pushed out on socials real quick.
Okay, sounds good. I'll take over for a second. So again, the area that we're talking about, there's actually basically 3 storms that we're watching. One that appears to be kind of merging a little bit, but the concern is this storm right here, which is west of Little Rock, North Little Rock, and then there's a second storm that has started to develop here just to the north of Wrightsville, and that is showing a sign of a downburst potential as well. So you take both these storms, you put them together, and you've got two concerns here. One storm and then 2, and I would say that almost this one's kind of merged together. So I'm not overly concerned. I think this is more of heavy rain right here, but I think this is our concern that we need to watch, and then this storm as well. And we're watching across the whole state of Arkansas, other areas. And I will say I've got my eye on this storm by Cabot too. I think that's quite strong. and I think that's semi close to severe. I don't think it's too severe limits just yet, but it's something we got to continue to watch. I think that's also got downburst potential. So,
Mary Dix is asking about BB and Cersei. I've seen her comment a couple of times just while we were in flux here. There's nothing necessarily, no warnings in BB. And Cersei is to the north of all of this. It's moving south and away from you, Mary. But it likely noisy. Probably hear the thunder in the area. But like Blaze mentioned, the storm near Cabot is strong. So,
yeah.
Cindy Denham said crazy wind in Sherwood. We're getting multiple wind reports out of this.
Yeah. We're getting. Yeah. There's a lot of wind signatures with these storms, guys. I mean, I don't think it's producing, 70, 80 miles per hour wind gusts, but I think 60 is certainly on the table. 60, 65 cannot be ruled out either. So, I know there's weather stations up there. Let's see if any of them are reporting anything. I'm going to check that, Zach, real quick.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, Jacksonville, Kedra Michelle is in Jacksonville. The name of our app is the Arkansas Weather Network app. It's completely free on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. It will alert you to storms and rain and lightning. If you haven't downloaded it yet, please do so. It's free. I'm biased, but I think it's fantastic. Heather Haskins says that small hail has came through West Little Rock for about 5 minutes or so. So another report of hail in West Little Rock. And Jan Bradley says, what about Conway, ? Well, as far as Conway goes, there's some rain and thunder in the area, but no severe weather at this time, no severe thunderstorm warning. This is all in Little Rock, Pulaski, Lone Oak County, and it's moving south.
Zach, I'm going to turn our Skycam in Conway to the south and see if we're getting any kind of visual of this storm. I doubt we're going to see it because it's probably going to be pretty far distance, but
the Alexander
just
camera?
want to see if we got anything here.
The Alexander camera, is that what you're talking about?
No, the Conway right now, but I'll move Alexander as well.
I got you. Guys, we've got a new Sky Camera network that we're working really hard on. We have camera locations in Alexander, Fairfield Bay, Conway, hopefully soon to be Neenah. We're going to continue adding some locations with time and have access to many cameras. Really, really interested and excited about that potential. So,
pull up the Conway camera, Zach. You still got it in show prep?
Sure do. This is the Conway
give
camera.
It a second. It's fixing to update. We've got visual on the storm.
Oh wow. Okay. So first and foremost, thank you so much to Central Arkansas Foot and Ankle Specialist for sponsoring this camera. If you're a business and interested in sponsoring our cameras, please reach out and let us know. This is in Conway, of course. Blaze, I'm sorry, I don't know the exact location of the camera. I know James would if he was here, but I would imagine this is looking off to the southeast, maybe? South?
Yeah, it's looking due south.
Can we turn it to the left any? I guess it would be to the southeast?
Yeah.
Eva Justin, the name of our app is the Arkansas Weather Network app. Just type Arkansas Weather Network and you should find it. It's been downloaded many times, so it should pop up pretty quick for you. It's a great view of the storm, Blaze. Fantastic view from our Conway camera.
That's southeast right now.
Yeah, so folks, this is, if you're just now joining for whatever reason, we're looking, this is our Central Arkansas Foot and Ankle Specialist camera in Conway, looking directly southeast at the storms that are moving through Central Arkansas, Pulaski, Lone Oak County. So obviously hard to make out a whole lot of detail there, Blaze, but rain, probably some hail, strong winds in there, but you can see the rain pretty easily in the camera.
Yeah.
So that's a cool view, man. I'm so excited about our Sky Camera network that we're building across Arkansas. Looks like the camera's shaking a little bit, maybe a little windy.
Yeah, the National Weather Service is advising any damage reports in Pulaski County, trees down or anything. So if you guys have received any reports or you know of anything, comment on our live stream. We'd like to know that because as of right now, I don't think they're getting many reports of any damage. So, but that kind of surprises me because I think this is pushing some pretty severe winds, Zach.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm also curious as to what it looks like I just got, well, no, never mind. I'm also curious to how strong the winds are associated with this outflow boundary that's moving just crossed I-40 south. Whenever you watch it drift south here, I feel like this thing's pretty stout. Be interested to see how that evolves here. But no, it doesn't look like a... It's so close to the radar site, Blaze, it's always hard to tell when they're really this close to the radar site.
Yeah.
So I'm not real sure, but I do know a few things. That there's likely gusty winds involved, very heavy rain, and there's a bunch of lightning. So it's a dangerous storm in general, right in time for the PM commute in our busiest area of Arkansas.
The good news is the National Weather Service, we're in direct communication with them, as well as emergency management. And so far, Pulaski County is reporting that they've not heard anything. So that's great news.
Yeah.
That could just mean it takes some time, but as of right now, emergency management. Plus, they're talking about a third downburst signature in Pulaski County. This one is east-southeast of Sweet Home. And you can see that that's a pretty strong downburst signal right there.
Yeah, somebody, Richard Darby said roads are starting to flood in Cabot, so he's talking about this storm right up here. This storm's kind of been parked for a minute, heavy rain. Also probably need to watch for flooding potential here in Little Rock where storms have been parked slightly. Blaze, looks like we might have a little bit of a hail signature here just southeast of Sweet Home where you were talking about Higgins, Walker's Corner, Scott, and southeast of College Station. Don't have any reports on that, but still getting reports of very strong wind in Little Rock, specifically West Little Rock. Camille Harris just referenced that once again. They've lost tree limbs.
Just checking to see any more reports. We do have the Alexander camera up, and we've got it pointed north near the storm. So I don't know if we want to take that.
What, the Alexander camera?
Yeah.
Is it on our show prep or where do we?
Yeah, it'll be in show prep. I'll pull it up here in just a second.
Sounds good.
I'm just changing the direction of it to face. Okay. Let me pull this up here.
Patricia McDaniel says, I'm very nervous. It's thundering and raining in Little Rock, in southwest Little Rock. The worst of it is on the north end of that, so I think you're going to be okay, Patricia, but I understand. Probably noisy as these storms pass through. People are saying they've lost power in Little Rock. Oh, wow.
That's
Dark.
an updated shot. That's live right now.
So, guys, this is the Alexander Sky camera. The Arkansas Weather Network Alexander camera. And for those who don't know where Alexander is, it's just south of Little Rock, right, Blaze?
Yeah.
I don't want to misspeak here. I don't have a map right in front of me. This is just south of Little Rock looking into the storm. If any businesses are interested in sponsoring this camera, please reach out and let us know.
It's just to the north. Just to the north of Bryant.
Right. So in
maybe
Saline
that'll
County,
help
looking
people.
off to the north. So
Yeah.
kind of an ominous look, folks, just to be honest with you, of this storm. I'm sure there's some lighting adjustment here involved that makes it look a little scarier than it is, but you can really see the tops of the storms there. That's a neat view. That's a really, really cool view from our Alexander camera. This camera will provide us with many great views over the years to come with strong storms and severe weather in central Arkansas.
Zach, we got a new severe thunderstorm warning that just developed for Perry, Conway, and Yell. And per GR, now this is GR, but it's showing 2-inch hail just to the southeast of Centerville.
Wow. Okay. So, like Blaze said, guys, Perry and Conway County, Morrilton, Apello, just west of Perry, Casa community, severe thunderstorm warning. This is brand new for us since we've got this on the board. We also have some storms up near Fort Smith and Van Buren. You can see that on the left side of your screen. We're watching that closely. But a train of severe thunderstorms now moving through central Arkansas. So we've got 3 warnings here, one over Little Rock, one moving off toward England, Lone Oak, and so on. And then, of course, the one that we just referenced there in Perry and Conway County.
I'm going to move the I'm going to move the Conway camera. We're going to go west on it and see if we got visual of this new severe thunderstorm warning.
Yes, our app is free, Becky. Thank you. Tammy, it's possible. It might be a little while unless something forms imminently on you, but a lot of this is in central Arkansas, so this is all moving to the east-southeast. It's kind of drifting south with time. Wesley
Okay, I
Tyra
think
is
we may
making
have
fun of
a
my
new.
pronunciation there. Yeah, sorry about that. Casa, not Casa. Sorry. Blaze, you gotta be
It's
on me
okay,
with that,
Zach.
man. I mispronounce
It
stuff all the
happens.
time, dude.
It's okay. I would mispronounce it as well. That's why I'm letting you do that,
I'm from
not me.
Western Arkansas, dude. I'm not from Central, so.
Um, so they're continuing severe thunderstorm warning for Lonoke, Pulaski County, in effect until 5:30 p.m. They are receiving reports of tree down around the Jacksonville area. That's the only report we've gotten so far, which is quite surprising, seeing some of these wind signals. But that's good news. Maybe the wind we were seeing was not actually making it to the ground. So, and it does look like the hail threat with this new severe thunderstorm warning for Perry County is starting to fall apart. It's still quite strong, but it's showing 1.5 inch hail instead of that 2 inch hail. So that's good news.
River McCoy says, any of these storms going to hit Fort Smith? Not the storms that we're talking about here in Central Arkansas. There is some storms, though, just north of Fort Smith in Crawford County. This is near Alma and Van Buren. Not so sure that clips Fort Smith, but it'll be close.
That one could go severe
Yeah.
as well as that.
Danielle Bush actually just asked about that. She said that we have one coming into Mountainburg. It's actually moving south away from Mountainburg now, Danielle. It's not moving into Mountainburg. This storm could be severe, honestly. We'll watch that closely, but we don't have a warning from Tulsa yet on that storm. But we're watching it closely. The Bisler 50 says, any tornado chances? We are not expecting tornadoes today. If nothing in the form of significant severe weather in regards to tornadoes. Damon, we did not block you. We've seen all your comments. Please stop spamming the chat. Tom Bishara says, what about Sherwood? We do have storms ongoing in Central Arkansas now, and that does include Sherwood. Sherwood's under a severe thunderstorm warning now in Pulaski County, but that storm is drifting off to the east-southeast toward Lonoke County, Wrightsville, England, and so on. Someone said they knew we would be live because their lights started flickering. Yeah, absolutely. We're getting a lot of reports now, Blaze. You can tell storms are starting to pick up. More storms we have, the more people get in here and start commenting. It's always nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to mute my mic for just a second. Talk to my kiddos.
Okay. So again, just want to restate that we're still tracking basically 3 severe thunderstorm warnings right now across the state. The information just came in from the National Weather Service in Little Rock. They're stating that the Western Pulaski severe storm will expire at 5 p.m. It is weekend, and we plan on letting the severe thunderstorm warning expire without reissuing a new warning. So we are fixing to see on the Western Pulaski severe thunderstorm warning. Technically, there is 2 storms that they warned here, but the western part of Pulaski County gets canceled, and the eastern part will continue. And then we got that new severe thunderstorm warning for Perry County that we're watching very closely. And I've got people in Perry County, so I fully anticipate we're going to get some reports pretty quick if this storm is truly producing severe weather in the area. So,
Eddie Joe Kirksey says,
Zach, you back?
Yeah, I'm here. We had a question from Eddie asking about hail. We have had some hail reports, specifically in West Little Rock. I don't think anything too incredibly large, but some people said it was large. But I don't have any reports of that. We did have some hail in Fayetteville earlier, nickel size, not real large. But Mary Dick says, is it getting close to Searcy? It looks like it. It's somewhat close to Searcy, but it's moving away from you, so not moving into Searcy. No severe thunderstorm warnings in Searcy.
And again, just want to restate, if you are in Western Pulaski County, they are going to be canceling the severe thunderstorm warning for your area at 5 o'clock. So 5 minutes. But the eastern severe thunderstorm warning for Pulaski County will continue.
Sarah Harrison asked, what comments, chats do we monitor the most? We can see pretty much all of them. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, so pretty much everything. We're on all platforms, essentially. Our goal is to kind of be everywhere at once. That way you can get this when you want, not have to worry about turning on a TV and flipping channels.
And we also want to be interactive too. We love interacting with people. So the more you comment, that helps us, especially if you've got reports and things.
Brooke, we don't have any hailstorms moving into Bentonville or anything like that. Everything is well south of Bentonville, central parts of west central Arkansas. Doug Foster says, are there any reports of strangled toads? Not sure. Haven't heard anything on that. Emily's asking about Alma from 7 to 9. I would imagine we're going to be clearing by that time. Of course, any additional developments we'll monitor, but for now, I mean, it's 5 o'clock now. This storm's going to be out of Alma by then. Blaze, do you have anything new from the National Weather Service?
No, just looking at the overall radar scan, it sure looks like this storm by Rudy is getting stronger in Crawford County. I mean, I don't think it's a severe status yet, but radar is estimating close to 45 miles per hour, so it's starting to get up there a little bit.
Guys, we really
There's
appreciate
another wind.
Go ahead, Blaze.
Oh, sorry.
No, go
There's
ahead.
another wind signature developing just east of Sweet Home again.
Oh, yeah. And
Not
down
as
here.
strong, but yeah.
I just wanted to do a reset real quick, go statewide. Guys, we really appreciate you watching the Arkansas Weather Network. My name is Zachary Hall, otherwise known as the Arkansas Storm Tracker. I'm joined by meteorologist Blaze Thomas here on the Arkansas Weather Network. The reason we're live is because we have severe weather ongoing, including our state capital, Little Rock. We have some storms, severe weather in Perry and parts of Conway County. We have a strong storm near Fort Smith, Van Buren, Alma. And Blaze, we also have a nasty complex of storms that's really close to Arkansas, but has, I think, mostly moved out of the state in southwest Arkansas. But guys, we don't have them. Get a lot of questions about tornadoes in the chat. No tornado warnings. We're not expecting tornadoes today. We are expecting storms to produce strong winds and perhaps hail at times, along with heavy rainfall. So that's what we're watching here. This little complex here over central parts of Perry and Conway, and then the Fort Smith-ish area is really the only notes of concern for now as of almost 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we told you guys, we've been saying this over the last, I'd say, several hours, and for the last couple days. We thought that thunderstorms would really start to get going in the afternoon, and then they kind of start to fade away in the evening time. And I think that's kind of the story. I think that's what we're seeing. We knew radar was going to be busy, Zach, and here we are at 5 o'clock, and it's busy.
Yeah, it's worked well. I do think that we're going to have additional storms that continue to develop, especially with the outflow boundary that still continues to move southward, Hot Springs Village, Benton, Stuttgart, and so on. So I'm sure we'll be watching that closely. Guys, just being honest with you, we generally don't just stay live and do long-form coverage for generic severe thunderstorm warnings, or we would quite literally have no lives due to the amount of warnings that we get. But it's 5 o'clock. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in our state capital. Hundreds of thousands of people traveling through this area right now. We're going to be live covering that. And then we're also going to address the other storms as well. So that's why we're live with you. We'll hop off later when things settle down a little bit. But Blaze, I'm sorry if it's noisy in the background. I'm home with my 2 kiddos today, and I think they're getting hungry.
No, I can't.
I'm
really
hungry too,
can't
though, so.
hear anything.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think they're playing with the wrestling action figures in there or something. I don't know what they're doing, but goofball. Let's look at the power outages, Blaze, and see if there's any outages.
Okay.
And we do.
Yeah.
This is presented by Electrical Cooperatives of Arkansas. We appreciate them helping us out on this. 3,500 alone in Pulaski County, Blaze.
Wow.
So mostly Pulaski County right now. 3,500 people without power. That's very unfortunate on a warm day like today. Hopefully it's, of course, cooled down some because of this, but did they adjust the warning?
Well, I think I'm kind of confused because they said they were okay. They decided to reissue
Yeah.
the severe thunderstorm warning for western Pulaski County. So they think it's strengthening aloft. All right, well, never mind, because I said at 5 o'clock it was getting canceled, but that's not the case. So now we're back to 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. Pretty intense storm, Zach.
Yeah, this is legit. I'm going to push something out to socials real quick.
Okay. So yeah, for anyone that is in western Pulaski County, you are now under another severe thunderstorm warning. I know there may be some confusion there because originally the National Weather Service had planned to cancel the warning at 5 o'clock, but they've decided to reissue it because of some strengthening of the wind fields aloft. The National Weather Service is also continuing the severe thunderstorm warning for Conway, Perry, Pope, and Yell County. So anyone in that area needs to be continuing to watch the storm very closely. That goes in effect until 5:15 p.m. So we're looking at another 15 minutes with that warning. To me, it does look like that storm is weakening some. I think that environment has also seen a lot of rain today. So that's probably playing a factor into this. The biggest story is going to be thunderstorms that maintain themselves and become strong to severe will be areas that have not seen rain. So that would probably be southwest Arkansas. That is an area that is untapped right now. That's an environment that does have some instability. But really, the main complex that we're watching for southwest Arkansas is in Louisiana, and it will remain in Louisiana for a little while. Um, when you put this in motion, it does look like it's moving off to the southeast. So not really expecting much of an impact with that. There's one storm we're watching to the south of Texarkana in Miller and Lafayette County. But the good news is it appears that all severe thunderstorm warnings, except for this one that's on the very edge of Miller County. But the storm itself is mainly in Louisiana now. So anyone that's watching is from Miller, Lafayette. Lafayette's no longer in the warning, but Miller is. But I mean, just a very tiny part of the county is in it. So really, we're down to these 3 severe thunderstorm warnings. 2 for Pulaski County, and then this one for Perry County. Still continuing to watch the storm by Fort Smith. It looks quite strong. I'm kind of surprised we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning. I think the hail core is quite strengthening fast near the Van Buren area. I want to go look at that real fast. So let's look at that because I think this storm is strengthening pretty fast. Zach.
Yeah, I just got it. My brother owns a roofing company. It's called Taylorway Roofing, and they're working on a roof right now in Fort Smith, and he is sweating it. Said that he's watching that thing real close and sent me a photo. But yeah, it's close to Fort Smith. I think this is mostly an Alma and Kilber problem now, southern Crawford County. But there is an outflow boundary that's pushing into my neck of the woods here, Blaze. Fort Smith up to Cedarville, Barling, Lavaca, Sebastian County in general. Maybe cooled off a little bit.
I'm really surprised we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning on this storm yet. I mean, this thing, I mean, it's showing 2-inch hail according to radar and over 60 miles per hour wind gust on the leading edge of this storm.
Yeah, this is a strong storm. That's about to cross I-40 too. Heads up to anybody if you're traveling along I-40 this afternoon from Van Buren and Mulberry. You're about to encounter a pretty nasty storm there near Alma, near the way station. A lot of people stop at Cracker Barrel there off I-40. This is all in that 4971 interchange, like if you're going to Fayetteville. So a big heads up on that. If you are in Fort Smith, someone said, should Fort Smith be worried? No, but it's about to get windy in Fort Smith from that outflow boundary, I can assure you. We'll see if anything develops on that.
Yeah, I really think we're going to have a severe thunderstorm warning coming on the storm. I mean, this thing is strong.
What did
it's very intense.
Tulsa said anything in chat about it?
No, there's nothing on chat.
Okay, we'll keep watching it.
I don't know.
Someone asked about Charleston. There's nothing in Charleston at this time. We're watching that storm. We're watching the storm in Crawford County, though. We'll see if it impacts you within time. Really, our 3 biggest concerns at this point is the 3 severe thunderstorm warnings that we have ongoing in central Arkansas, parts of Perry, Conway County, of course, Pulaski, and Lonoke County as well. Blaze, there's all kinds of wind and heavy rain involved here. This is a strong, strong storm moving out of Little Rock toward Keogh, England, Wrightsville, and so on.
Yeah, we've got 3, well, technically 4 intense storms right now. It's a busy day. You know, to think we only have a marginal risk for a large chunk of Arkansas, and the area that's in the slight risk isn't really seeing any storms as of right now. So this just goes to show you that even with a very low risk of severe storms, you can certainly still get it. And these storms can be quite strong to severe. So
yeah,
there's still nothing from the National Weather Service yet on this storm.
We got a report of pea-sized hail behind the airport. I think she's talking about the central Arkansas storm. Jessica Smallwood says it is so windy in Van Buren. I bet. Yeah, that storm's pushing out all kinds of wind there near Van Buren and Alma. I'm going to zoom back out. We'll just show all the storms here that we're referencing here. These are our big three, really, that we're watching here. I can even pull out my handy-dandy clicker drawer. Really watching this storm close. This storm here. And then this little cluster here. Those are our big three for the time being. It's 5:06 p.m. on July 6th. So that's why we're live, is for these three storms. Just in time for commute, Blaze. I gotta love that. Along I-40. Literally along I-40. So that's neat.
Yeah. And I want to say, you may be looking at the live stream, guys, and okay, NWS is saying storm west and north of Alma has a broad swath of strong outflow winds. They didn't say anything about issuing a warning, but they're just advising that there is strong outflow winds. You also may be noticing on our live stream on the map, you're seeing all those counties included in the severe thunderstorm warning. That's county based. And you may be looking at this and you may be like, in Miller County. Miller, there's a very tiny part of Miller that is in the warning. The majority of the storm is actually in Louisiana and out of Arkansas. So if you're looking at that and you're saying, well, Miller County's in a severe thunderstorm warning, technically they are, but the very edge of it and the majority of the storms are in Louisiana. I just wanted to clarify that. So still waiting to see if anything from the National Weather Service.
Fred McVeigh says, is MENA going to get anything? Tough to say. We'll just have to see how individual storms continue to organize and develop over the next couple of hours, but nothing imminent. Scattered forecast today always makes it tough, unfortunately. Ren's Fight Garden says, starting to get dark and windy in Bryant, almost Alexander. That's this storm down here that we were talking about in central Arkansas.
We'll have visual of that.
Yeah. Travis Jones said, hail in Little Rock. Power out in Cabot on Graham and Kerr intersection, says Jacob Howard. We're getting some really good reports in the chat today. We really appreciate you guys tuning in and leaving us these reports on the Arkansas Weather Network.
That doesn't surprise me at all about the reports near Cabot, because that storm was showing 50, almost 60 miles per hour wind gust. We're starting to see some winds picking up, Zach, on our Alexander camera. A lot of lightning, too. I've seen several strikes in the last couple minutes on that.
Yeah, I would imagine that camera view is going to have something. I can pull that back up. That's a neat view, man. Wow. Look at the wind pushing it, our camera. Folks, this is the Arkansas Weather Network Alexander camera. This is looking to the north at the storms moving through central Arkansas. We are looking for business sponsors for our cameras, as you can tell there. So if you're interested, be sure to reach out and let us know if you're interested. But man, what a cool view, Blaze. So happy that we have these cameras now and can do this live.
It is very windy, though, like you said, Zach.
Yeah, no, it is. The camera is shaking from the outflow winds pushing out from this storm. Just for reference, I'm going to bring up radar real quick, just showing you where this is. Alexander is to the south of Little Rock. It's down near Bryant. That camera is looking to the northeast, isn't it, Blaze?
Yeah.
So Alexander's right here, just northeast of Bryant in Saline County. Alexander's technically Pulaski County. But looking to the northeast at this angry complex of storms over central Arkansas, Little Rock, Kamek Village, and so on. So that's what you're looking at. Of course, we've got our trusses and stuff there that makes it kind of hard to see. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. That's the storm from Alexander. It's a really cool view, honestly. Yeah, bring it back to the left a little bit, Blaze, and see what that looks like. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at the rain curtains below it. That's neat. I think it's a little bit...
Yeah, that's technically...
Go ahead.
Due north right there, right around north. And then, because if we turn it too much north to the northeast, we're going to get the trusses and stuff.
But this is a great view of that. We can also look at the Conway camera. I don't know if this is the Central Arkansas Foot and Ankle Specialist camera out of Conway. Of course, this is looking off to the southeast at the storms we were just looking at from the south. So neat being able to see the storms from both sides. We really appreciate Central Arkansas Foot and Ankle Specialist for sponsoring the Arkansas Weather Network Conway camera. That's a cool view too, Blaze. Look on the right, the cloud structure on the right of that. Wow.
Yeah, I've got that. I just moved it. We're actually pointing to the west right now.
Oh, okay, so we're looking to the west. All right, neat.
We're looking at that severe thunderstorm warning that is just to the west of it.
Well, cool. This is a neat camera spot there. So, looking back on our analysis here on the TAMCO radar, just for updating purposes, to let everybody kind of know what's going on. We've got 3 clusters of storms that we're watching right now. We've got one near Little Rock, the other one southeast of Russellville and Perry and Conway County, and then a strong storm. Might even be a severe storm if we're being honest. There's no warning, but near Fort Smith, Alma and Van Buren, parts of Crawford, northeastern Sebastian County. So that's what we're watching at this time. It's 5:12 p.m. on the Arkansas Weather Network. So we really appreciate all the reports so far today, whether you're watching us on Facebook, we've got people watching on YouTube, people watching us on the Arkansas Weather Network mobile app, TikTok, Twitter. We don't really care where you watch. As long as you're watching us, we're happy that you're here and we appreciate the reports. So, Blaze, I'm just going to go in here and go storm by storm here and kind of update everybody.
Okay.
We've got our first really order of business here is the severe thunderstorm that's over Little Rock now, central Arkansas, Pulaski, and Lonoke County. You'll also notice this outflow boundary that's kind of draped here. It's really neat looking. Strong winds likely ahead of the storm before the rain even gets there. And then our next one here, Blaze, I think this one's starting to fall apart a little bit on us.
Yeah, I think so.
Perry and Conway County. It looks like it's starting to kind of crumble a little bit on us. Maybe some strong winds still. We're getting a lot of
so the
questions
NWS,
Go ahead, Blaze.
they're going to let the severe thunderstorm warning in Conway, Perry, and Yell County expire.
Okay,
It is weakened.
cool. So I was on to something there.
Yeah.
We're getting multiple questions now about Harrison and Baxter County. Guys, this is just very run-of-the-mill thunderstorms with not a whole lot going on. Of course, there's still lightning involved. If you're on the lake, please be careful, but nothing of concern at this time. No severe weather or anything like that. And then, of course, our last storm here, were a lot of comments about this, Blaze. I still feel like this might be close to severe, strong, to say the least.
Yeah, I think so. So the NWS is advising that the current storms that were severe have been undercut by the outflow. And it says, as a result, new storms have developed east, but it says the overall intensity of those original storms has decreased. And they said, even so, there remain some impressive winds pushing southeast on the eastern severe storm. So still seeing some intense winds on the southeast Pulaski County storm, but it does, according to the National Weather Service, appear that these storms are weakening some.
Yeah.
Which is great news. So.
Jay Wright said, should this move out fast in Fort Smith, or should we be worried about tornadoes? Definitely not worried about tornadoes today. In regards to Fort Smith, it's going to be close. This is it's really close to Fort Smith. I think there's a chance this could move into Fort Smith, especially the east side of town. But no, we're not worried about tornadoes right now. We are worried, though, about the severe thunderstorms here in central Arkansas, especially in parts of Pulaski and soon to be Lonoke County. Strong winds are very possible with this. And then our other warning near Morrilton, we believe that it is going to be canceled. The warning is going to be canceled. That storm has went through a significant weakening process.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Yeah, I'm just really surprised about this Crawford County storm, Zach. This thing just looks very impressive on radar, which is not good.
Let's switch over to the Fort Smith radar and look at it. So we have a strong thunderstorm in southern Crawford, Van Buren, Alma, Kibler, Cedarville, over toward Lavaca, which is in Sebastian County. And then you can see outflow winds. The wind's probably picking up in Fort Smith, but it's not raining, and it's because of this outflow boundary. You can see with my cursor, I'm moving it along it here. Rain-cooled air pushing off of those storms and into Fort Smith. So a nice relief in temperature probably. But no severe warning on this right now. There is lightning involved and heavy rain though. They canceled that.
I was going to say, if you didn't have the rain and you just had that outflow boundary, it'd be perfect for your brother because it felt great outside being on a roof. But Conditions are not good for being on a roof right now.
Yeah. Anybody needs a roof, Taylor Way Roofing, send me a message. I'll hook you up with him. He's a good dude. They work hard. But somebody said the very dangerous driving conditions in Little Rock, and I would imagine that is very accurate. It's dangerous to me. Traffic is a mess half the time in Little Rock when it's dry and sunny. I can't imagine driving through this. So a lot of lightning though, Blaze, in this. They're just east of Little Rock from Wrightsville up to 40. Yeah, this is we're getting a lot of comments from Fort Smith now, Blaze. I think people are hearing the thunder and feeling the wind picking up, like we were talking about.
I mean, it looks quite intense.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see.
Sierra McGuire says very windy in Alma. All the stuff in my backyard blew over. RIP to the stuff in the backyard, Sierra. Sorry about that. Hopefully we can get it picked up soon. Stacy's mom, 2748, says high winds and heavy rain here in Van Buren. A lot of reports on this storm there in Crawford County and Sebastian County.
All right, I've got a wind signature, downburst signal just to the south of Cedarville on this Van Buren storm. So I am pretty confident that we are seeing an increase of damaging winds headed towards the Van Buren area. I'm just warning everybody right now.
I mean, judging by the comments, I think you're right. Brandy Flynn says we're getting slammed in Van Buren. A lot of comments from Van Buren about strong winds. That seems to be the case. Yeah, we flip it over to Velocity Blaze, and we could probably,
Right there.
That, and then also to the south, it looks like strong winds pushing through that as well.
Yep. We're going to get a lot of reports.
Look at,
and like you said, we're already starting to get them.
Here. Let's see how strong that. This is really close to the radar site, so pretty good odds of getting winds 30 plus miles per hour on that. And then, like you said, the downburst signal there just north of Van Buren, probably pressing winds off into Van Buren too. And then the outflow winds pushing through Fort Smith now too. We're getting a lot of questions about strong winds, or comments about strong winds in Van Buren. Van Buren bottoms. The wind is bad in Van Buren. Getting really windy in Fort Smith. Thank you guys for the reports. Kind of Mythical Mama 7 said Alma wind is flipping everything over.
Wow. Yeah, that's really close to that downburst. So, I mean, those winds got to go somewhere, and it sounds like they're making it to the surface, which is not good. I do have some good news, though. The National Weather Service has canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for Faulkner, Pulaski, and Saline County. They're still continuing it for Lonoke and Pulaski. They said that the main focus for the severe part of the storm is across southeast Pulaski County, less concerned about central and western parts of Pulaski County. So if you're in western and central Pulaski County, I think you're okay now. I think the focus is just eastern Pulaski County.
Quick update on this, guys. That's what we're referencing here. Little Rock area, greater Little Rock area, severities went down. More so to the southeast from Wrightsville over to England up to Lonoke. Strong winds are possible with that, along with heavy rain and lightning. And then, really, we don't have a warning on this storm, but our storm near Fort Smith, Van Buren, and Alma, Lavaca, soon to be Charleston, we're getting a lot of reports of strong winds in Van Buren. Blaze, it looks like lightning has picked up significantly as well, just north of Van Buren, between Van Buren and Cedarville on Highway 59. We are also getting reports of hail in Van Buren.
Yeah, the National Weather Service, they're issuing special weather statements on these storms. We've got two special weather statements, one for the Crawford County storm and then one for the Sebastian County storm. They're not issuing severe thunderstorm warnings right now, but Zach, as many reports as we're getting right now, I'm pretty confident that we're seeing higher wind gusts than just special weather statement winds.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of comments in the last 5 minutes from people in Van Buren that I've seen on this board, people are saying the wind is intense. And I don't know, everyone's perception is different on how strong intense winds are, but I don't feel like people would say that if the winds were blowing 20 miles an hour. You know what I mean? I feel like it's probably 30 plus easy, maybe 40 plus easy. So I haven't had a chance to look at my Facebook inbox and see if we have damage or anything like that, but I'm getting a lot of reports of wind in Van Buren. Some different reports of tree damage as well. Be
It
safe,
does
guys.
to me kind of look like Pulaski County, the western part of Pulaski County. They canceled the severe thunderstorm warning because they think that the storm was kind of weakening, and we agree with that. However, it does look to us like a flooding threat's kind of developing for Little Rock and North Little Rock and just west of it. So
Let's
they
flip
issued a
back
flash
over
flood
that.
warning for a large part of Pulaski County now.
Yeah, I feel like this storm has kind of been parked here for a while. Especially here southeast of Little Rock. I feel like this has been here for a minute, man. Yeah, it has. I mean, we're talking the last 20 minutes or so, this same area, just heavy rain nonstop. We're continuing to get reports, power flickering in Van Buren, tree branches down in Van Buren. I would imagine we probably have some damaging wind reports here in central Arkansas too. We're not seeing as many comments about that, but I would imagine there's probably some.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm kind of surprised we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning on the Fort Smith storm, Zach. Honestly, I mean, we've got numerous reports coming in right now.
I just received a video from Van Buren, and I can tell you right now that is strong wind. Obviously, don't know how strong the wind is based off a video, but from Chastity Vargo. Yeah, Amber McLean says Van Buren is super windy and pouring. Goodness. Lights flickering in Van Buren. Van Buren winds are bad. Raining sideways. I mean, I could make a novel off the comments in the chat about Van Buren wind reports. Intense wind, says Michelle Graham in Van Buren. So, guys,
I think the health threat increasing a little bit too.
Just resetting for you too. We only have one warning technically in the state, down in central Arkansas, parts of Pulaski and Lonoke County, but we're really paying a lot of attention to this Van Buren storm because of the amount of reports that we're receiving from people who are quite literally living this right now. We're receiving reports of hail, there's a lot of lightning involved, heavy rain, and of course the strong wind. This is seeping toward Fort Smith slightly. I'm just not so sure how this evolves to the south though, Blaze, with the outflow boundary. It's kind of hard to say real time sometimes how this goes.
Yeah, just curious, have you talked to your brother? Because I hope he's not on a roof right now.
Oh no, they're not, with lightning in the area. They're not going to be on the roof.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I just was curious.
He's a smart cookie.
How much wind they're seeing.
Chastity Vargo says marble-sized hail in northern Van Buren. That's the signature here. Let's zoom in on that, guys. Yeah, look at this, Blaze. Rena Road. This is on 59 Highway, north out of Cedarville. There's multiple businesses in this area, just north of I-40, between Rena and Figure 5. I know a lot of people who live in this area. This is wild. But yeah, we're getting reports of marble-sized hail out of this in North Van Buren. This doesn't include downtown Van Buren. I don't think that's where the hail is right now. I think most of it is to the north of that, north of 40. Between Rena and Figure 5, south of Cedarville.
Michelle says if they have the weather app, it'll tell them lightning is approaching. Yeah, that's true.
He has the app. He's got it.
He does. But I just wonder what kind of winds he's experiencing in Van Buren right now.
Well, he's in Fort Smith, so he said
Fort
he
Smith.
said it got windy though. His text, as a matter of fact, his text was in quote, "We're cooked." So I think they're trying to get the roof tarped, I would imagine. So Michael Whitlock says hail at Domino's Van Buren. Van Buren is so bad right now, says Stephen Elliott. Hail, wind, the house is shaking.
Yikes.
Yeah, no, this is. I continue to get multiple reports from Van
The
Buren.
downburst signature on this storm is just quite strong. Again, I know there's not a severe thunderstorm warning, but I would urge anybody in this area, they need to be kind of it's not a shelter in place per se, but like
Don't be
monitor
outside.
the weather very closely and don't go outside. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Stay inside because this is quite strong.
Yeah, I would certainly not want to be outside in this Van Buren storm with the amount of lightning, rain, and hail, and of course the wind potential too. It's very windy and hail at the Van Buren post office. Lots of wind and hail, Pine Hollow and Van Buren. Dime size off Arena Road in Van Buren. Van Buren is so bad right now. I mean, just the comments are full of Van Buren people. Folks, we don't want to miss on this central Arkansas storm. We have a severe thunderstorm warning that continues for parts of Lone Oak and Pulaski County. Blaze, this storm looks like it's dying to me. I don't see it.
Yeah.
I think
Outflow, undercut it.
Yeah, I think outflow. I think the outflow is killing it. I think the strongest storm in the state right now, if I might say, I think is this one, the Van Buren storm,
I think you're right.
or one of the strongest by far. As it continues off to what appears to me, it looks like it's kind of moving southwest, following the outflow toward Fort Smith, Barling. Soon to be me. Might get noisy at my place here, just a few, but Brandy, I promise I don't think we had any tornadoes today. I've been wrong before about that, but I really think this is just strong winds associated with the storm. Downburst potential was pretty high earlier. Blaze was referencing it.
Yeah.
But I continue to receive reports of strong winds in Van Buren.
Yeah, I'm just looking, back at the latest radar scan, and it's still showing some fairly large hail headed right towards the Van Buren area. So, a lot of special weather statements, but no severe thunderstorm warnings, except for this one that is still in eastern Pulaski County. But I'm right there with you, Zach. I think it's falling apart. I think it's weakening. I think our main focus is this Fort Smith storm. I think that's our strongest storm we're dealing with.
Guys, if you're using the Arkansas Weather Network app, and we hope you are, it's free. You should download it if you haven't already. And you live in Fort Smith or Van Buren or Alma, you might be getting hail alerts from our app, and it's because of the hail signatures associated with this storm. We have reports of marble-sized hail in Van Buren, so if you're anywhere close to that, the app is probably going to trigger off of it and send it to you. I would say that the greatest concern, Blaze, right now for hail is likely going to be in the Van Buren area, northwest of downtown, along I-40 now. Anyone driving on I-40 west or east is probably observing at least small hail. And then this might impact North Fort Smith too soon. Blaze, it does look like this storm, though, as a whole, except for that north side, is starting to wane a little bit, but still really windy.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're seeing it. A lot of power outages coming in Van Buren right now.
Let's check that. Let's check it. Don't have anything updated on our map just yet. We still have a lot there in central Arkansas. Pulaski County had 3,500 earlier. They have 4,000 now. 100 in Lone Oak and 200 in White County. Don't have anything for Van Buren yet, but I would imagine that will probably pop here pretty soon. Judging by the videos that I saw, I'm sure there probably was.
We have a down... we got a new severe thunderstorm warning for an extension, which now includes Jefferson County, Arkansas County, Lone Oak County, and still Pulaski County.
Okay, let's talk about that real quick.
Thunderstorm warning.
Thank you, Blaze, for the update. So, folks, what Blaze is talking about here, we have a large severe thunderstorm warning expansion that goes down. Meteorologist James Bryant just told us that they had a 51 mile per hour wind gust at LIT there in Little Rock. So winds in Little Rock were legit too, Blaze. But you can see the outflow there from Redfield over to England, over to Stuttgart. So strong winds are likely going to impact northern Jefferson County, parts of Arkansas County before the rain ever makes it to you. But strong winds continue to be the main concern with this storm here in central Arkansas. We're getting a lot of questions about Fort Smith and VB. I think the app is sending out all kinds of alerts right now, thankfully. It's thundering at my place too, Blaze. I can hear it in the background. It's getting closer to me.
Well, hopefully you don't lose power.
Yep, we'll see what happens here, but I do think that some hail will be possible in the north part of Fort Smith if that hail signature stays together. There's also a hail signature near Lavaca along Highway 22 at the 96-22 intersection. This is right near where the I think we've got it on our map. The Budweiser can is the big beer can there at 96 and 22, just for reference. That is also moving off to the west-southwest toward Fort Chaffee. But Blaze, I can guarantee the wind's picking up at my house too. It looks like the outflow boundaries seep south of Fort Smith toward Greenwood over to Boonville.
Yeah, I'm just kind of checking any cameras that we have that might have visual of any of these storms right now.
I think an iDrive camera at I-540 and Highway 71 might be fantastic. Let me pull that up. If you give me just a second here.
Okay.
I don't use these a whole lot. I like to use them whenever we have snow and stuff. So this is, I'm going to pull this over to our feed here. This is I-540 at Rogers Avenue, the Bass Pro Shops parking lot that's there on your right. That's what all those cars are there for. Can't really see a whole lot, Blaze, but you can see a dark sky with, I'm sure, a lot of rain, maybe some hail, and of course strong winds as well. This is on I-540, Interstate 540, right at the Rogers Avenue. Blaze, you can see the camera shaking there, the shrubs, flowers and whatnot blowing in the wind. There's a lot of traffic going north and south too, Blaze. So.
Yeah, and that's a concern because with as much traffic as you've got, we're at the 5:30 p.m. time frame. There's traffic and a lot of it.
Yeah, and that storm is moving. These people are driving right into that, man. Driving north on 540 right here up toward Van Buren. I'm going to check a few other camera spots and see what I can find on that and see if we have any other views of that storm.
I'm kind of surprised we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning on this.
I think maybe they're just kind of holding out hope that the winds aren't up to snuff. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's starting to storm there at Kelly Highway, so just north of the camera we were just watching. Here's a great view, Blaze. This is just a mess at 5:30. So this is at I-540, the Arkansas River Bridge, going over, of course, the Arkansas River into Van Buren. It looks to me like traffic is slowing significantly northbound for traffic coming out of Fort Smith and into Van Buren. Look at the wind, Blaze. Look at the trees blowing on the bottom left and bottom right.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, this is, folks, just, not trying to be exaggerative here or anything like that, but this is just a gnarly summer storm. We have these sometimes, even in July. And that's exactly what this is. So I continue to get reports from Van Buren that it is just intense in Van Buren. Seems like that is the theme with this. That camera view, Blaze, is right here.
Okay. We're seeing some pretty strong winds on our Alexander camera now.
You want to flip over to that? Or I can flip over to it? Give me
you might. Yeah, if you want to.
Let me switch over to the Little Rock radar, and we needed to address this storm anyways.
It seems like it's starting to pick up some.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it is. Folks, this is the Alexander camera. This is in far southwestern Pulaski County. Blaze, is this looking off to the east-northeast?
This is looking off towards looks like northwest, actually.
Oh, okay.
Northeast is going to go right into the
trusses.
Tower.
Okay. But you can, folks, this is that central Arkansas storm producing strong winds as well. So, of course, the storm there in western Arkansas, Van Buren, Fort Smith is windy too. But the winds in central Arkansas are legit as well. And then, once again, this is on the Arkansas Weather Network Alexander Sky Camera. If you're interested in sponsoring your business on this camera, let us know. But a great view there. If you're just now joining us, we have two storms really that we're watching very closely. The storm we were just referencing here in central Arkansas, moving into parts of Jefferson and Lonoke County, and then a very strong storm with no warning on it, but still strong in Fort Smith and Van Buren, soon to probably be Greenwood, Barling. The wind is the biggest concern here, folks. Heavy rain and wind. We're getting reports from England. The wind is blowing like crazy, Blaze, on that storm we were just looking at near Alexander.
Well, and we've got a special weather statement for that specific storm.
For the one that we're looking at now.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan Melton
I'm gonna
is
turn
on
the camera.
Riverfront Drive, getting beat up with wind. Blaze, that's a North Fort Smith report for you. Riverfront Drive is right here. Goes into North Fort Smith. She said that the wind is really picking up and hail too.
I'm gonna turn the camera. I'm gonna go east with the camera and see if we're seeing anything here.
Okay. Which camera?
This is gonna be on the Alexander camera.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to switch to it yet.
No, you're fine. We're continuing to receive reports from Fort Smith and Van Buren of strong storms, heavy rain, cars shaking on Kelly Highway. Kelly Highway is here in North Fort Smith. Branches off of Interstate 540 on the north side of town. There's a Walmart over there. I'm sure a lot of people in that area. So, Melody Myron says
Okay.
the iDrive camera near Carlisle has a great view. I'll look at that too while you're doing that, Blaze.
Take the Alexander full if you don't mind. I got a really good picture of this.
Oh, wow. Look at the blue skies in the background too. It's really cool.
That's crazy.
Folks, so if you're just now joining us, this is our Alexander, Arkansas Weather Network sky camera. This is looking off at some storms moving through central Arkansas toward the Little Rock area, to the southeast of Little Rock, into parts of Lonoke, and is soon to be Jefferson County. Severe thunderstorms too, so a really neat view. This camera's way up in the air, of course, so it gives us a great view of the storms there. Blaze, I'm going to pull up the Conway camera briefly too. This is our Conway camera too, sponsored by Central Arkansas Foot and Ankle Specialists. We really appreciate them helping us out with our cameras. We're looking for more businesses to do so. Blaze, this is looking straight east, right? I think it is.
No, it's looking west.
West, okay. What storm is west of? Oh, it is.
There's a
I'm sorry.
storm
Yeah, there is. That's our
near
formerly severe
Gary.
windstorm. I apologize. Yeah. So that was a great view of that too. So cool, two cool views from our cameras there. And then we've been looking at some iDrive cameras for our Fort Smith storm as well. This storm that's moving through Fort Smith, Van Buren, Alma, Barling, Lavaca, probably soon to be Greenwood, and parts of South Sebastian County.
But I am going to go southeast on the view of Conway and see if we're seeing anything.
Okay. Sarita Baker says suddenly windy near Hackett. Yep. That's why right here, Sarita. You can see on our feed here, this green line that goes through Hackett, Sebastian Lake, Pecola, down to Big Rock and Witcherville. That's strong winds being pushed out from the storm to the north. Antonio Ganchero says, check the ACHE camera. Arkansas College of Health. Where is that accessible at? Betty
All right,
Ricks.
I just flipped the Conway camera. It's pointed to the east now, Zach.
Blaze,
Southeast.
Blaze, we got a new warning. Let's touch on that real quick. Finally. So we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning, folks, for a large chunk of Sebastian and a small sliver of Crawford County. This includes the entire city of Fort Smith. If you received a warning on your phone from the Arkansas Weather Network mobile app, that's why. It's because of this warning that includes a pretty solid chunk of town, mainly for strong winds and possibly some hail too. We've had hail reports out of this as well. This is going to impact the north end of Fort Smith. It's going to impact downtown Fort Smith, Riverfront Drive. It's going to impact 540. Blaze, I'm going to pull that iDrive camera up real quick again that we were looking at a few seconds ago.
Go for it.
Well, before I do that, let me check and see if there's any other options available. I think we will have some good views of this regardless.
While he's doing that, I'm going to see if there's any more questions coming in here. someone said, "Are y'all looking for more camera spots?" Absolutely. We want to
yeah.
build a huge camera network. Get in touch with us, definitely.
We need businesses
Power
to
lines
sponsor.
down in
That's the
Van
biggest
Buren.
thing.
Yeah. Bad storm here in Van Buren and lost power. Someone said just a little late. Well, this storm does look a lot more intense now than what it originally looked like when we thought it was probably going to go severe. So certainly now this thing is a monster storm. Looking at the newest radar scan. Let's see.
This is 540 in
We're-
Kelly, just for example, in Fort Smith, just showing you kind of what the conditions are like there. This is a severe thunderstorm that's impacting North Fort Smith, parts of Van Buren. It does impact down to parts of northeast Sebastian County as well. But the worst of it, Blaze, is Fort Smith and Van Buren, for sure, at this time. Blaze, I'll be right back. I'm going to go make sure my kids are not near windows and stuff.
Okay. Sounds good. So again, anyone in the Van Buren area needs to be watching the storm very closely. This is what we've got on radar here. And if we zoom in, this is producing a lot of heavy rain, but we also think there's some hail embedded with this as well. And we can see the winds on this storm. If we go to the Fort Smith velocity scan, yeah, right there, we're seeing a pretty good signature of downburst. And so we think there's definitely gusty winds heading towards the Van Buren area, Fort Smith. So if we look back at our reflectivity, we could see that the strongest storm is to the east of Fort Smith right now. And I mean, it is really close. Now, that's what our map says is Fort Smith. It's technically, here's 540 that Zach was talking about. And so very heavy rain occurring there, but I think there's also hail embedded with this. The hail core that we're most concerned about, that we think the highest is just to the north of Oak Park or near Dora. So we're watching that closely. And just to the south of Dripping Springs, we think that's the area that we're most concerned about with the hail core. And according to GR, another program we have, it's estimating 2.5-inch hail in this area. Now, that doesn't mean it's making it to the ground, but it does give us indications that this is quite strong and a lot of lightning too with this particular storm. Let me go back to questions here, see if we got any more questions coming in here. The winds are crazy. It shook my house. Holly, thank you for that report. Heavy rain on Grand Avenue. Thank you for that report. Let's see. Zach, are you back, Zach?
Yeah, no, yeah. I just was checking on some reports that, man, one of my cousins just sent me a text and said he was driving on Highway 96 at 22, which is actually east of here, toward Lavaca, and he was like, "Bro, am I in a tornado?" Said it was gnarly. Said the winds were really, really strong. So I would imagine. I'm going to zoom way in on this real quick. I think the worst of this is from Rogers Avenue down 540 to the Midland, the Midland Bridge too, but the 540 bridge, and then over into far north Fort Smith, Oak Park, Riverfront Drive, across the river toward I-40. That's the worst of this storm, especially the north half of Fort Smith.
This is right. I mean, this is starting to get right over the radar beam. Curious to see. Let me do some checking on some weather stations up there.
Okay.
See what kind of wind speeds we're getting in this area.
We have people. Stephen Elliott asked, should we be sheltering by the Walmart in Van Buren? Folks, we don't have any tornado warnings, but we certainly wouldn't recommend being out and about in this. It can be quite dangerous, especially with the heavy rain, trying to drive in it. And of course, the wind adds its own variance to that. So, guys, this storm is going to be in and out in here before you know it. So stay inside, let it pass, and then you can go about your business. You're getting a lot of reports of power outages now in Fort Smith, North Fort Smith specifically.
So these are just personal weather stations at people's houses, but the highest gust I've found so far is 27 miles per hour. And that's in the middle of the storm right now.
Okay.
Now, again, these are just weather stations at people's houses. They're probably not up very high. And if there's anything that's going to block the wind, the report would be invalid. But looks like the strongest gust is at 27.
We're getting reports from Hempstead Herod said just drove through Interstate 540 to Interstate 40 toward Alma. Very slow traffic, could barely see. Yeah, this is it's a gnarly storm, and it looks like our hail signatures went up, Blaze, over the same area, man. Basically between Dora and Van Buren along Interstate 40. You know what? There should be a camera view of this. I'm almost certain there's an iDrive camera at that exact location. Let's see if it shows anything. See if we can see any hail on it.
I bet you will. This is a legitimate severe storm. I mean, this thing it's intense. I'm going to look at some parameters across Arkansas, specifically where this storm is, and just see how much storm fuel
Oh
we've
my
got
gosh.
to work with.
Blaze, look at this. Look at this camera shaking. This is right at the Arkansas-Oklahoma border.
Wow.
Looking to the east, the camera is shaking. You look at the trees in the background shaking and blowing over the top from this storm.
Wow.
I don't see any hail in that. I'm sure it's not big enough to show up in the camera, but man, the people driving into that storm are in for a mess, especially eastbound. This is looking eastbound into Arkansas. So, Lord, that's rough, but that's a good view of the storm, kind of what we're dealing with here. They're just northwest of Van Buren.
I'm looking at the atmosphere, and we have almost no wind shear at all. But we have an abundance of storm fuel right now. There is like 4,000 cape or higher for the Fort Smith area. So
Yeah,
plenty of instability.
Powder keg, man. Just
Zach,
checked
I
on the
think that
Central
storm's
Arkansas
murder.
Storm 2 blaze, and it looks like it's dying. I'm sure it's still windy,
Yeah.
but this storm near Fort Smith and Van Buren is by far and large, I think, our strongest storm in the state for now, as of 5:47 p.m. here on Monday, July 6th.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, the NWS is stating that unless they see new updraft develop within the current severe thunderstorm, we'll probably cancel or expire that warning soon. That is going to be for Pulaski County. So like you said, that thing's falling apart. But my concern is like this Fort Smith storm, it's in an area that is untapped. They've not really seen anything today. So there's an abundance of storm fuel. But I will say, good news. It does look like the storm that is just to the northeast of Greenwood, Washburn, it kind of fell apart, Zach.
Yeah, I can hear the
Just
thunder
looking at
here in
that latest
Greenwood.
radar.
I can hear the thunder in Greenwood out my window here, but it does look like I briefly stepped out to check on my kiddos, and it looked like my back porch was a little wet, maybe some sprinkles, but nothing too crazy yet. So, but yeah, no, I think the worst of this is certainly in Fort Smith and Van Buren. This is really close to the radar site too, Blaze. The radar site there is in South Fort Smith. So I really hope everybody in North Fort Smith is inside, not outside driving into this, because it's just not going to be fun. Of course, Van Buren too.
Well, the good news is with these storms, there is not really any wind shear out there, thank goodness. So really no tornado threat. But also, the question we have to ask ourselves is how long will this storm maintain its strength? And right now it's holding together, but it could start to weaken. I hope. That's what I hope.
Yeah, I would think so as well. I do think that eventually it will weaken. Of course, that outflow is pushing out and off to the south. We'll see if we have any more developments. Guys, just a reset here. We haven't really done this in a while here. Thank you so much for watching the Arkansas Weather Network. James said we have a lot of people watching in our mobile app, the Arkansas Weather Network mobile app. Thank you for watching. And of course, we have a lot of people watching on social media too. My name is Zachary Hall, otherwise known as the Arkansas Storm Tracker. I'm joined by meteorologist James Bryant. Usually, I'm joined by meteorologist Blaze Thomas on the Arkansas Weather Network. Blaze, I really appreciate you being here. We have two severe storms that we're watching right now. We have one in central Arkansas for parts of Arkansas, Lone Oak, and Jefferson County. That storm looks like it's dying off a little bit. It's still windy. And then we have what we consider our strongest storm on the board for now in Sebastian and Crawford County. Specifically strong wind gusts and maybe some hail too. Sorry, Blaze.
All right. I got good news here. No, you're good. Here's the good news. National Weather Service has canceled severe thunderstorm warning for Arkansas, Jefferson, Lone Oak, Prairie, and Pulaski. So that warning in central Arkansas is expired.
Forget everything I
Still
just said.
tracking the severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, forget everything I just said on Central Arkansas. So good to hear. Thanks, Blaze. This is our last warning on the board. Hopefully our last warning of the day. I'm sure we'll probably have a couple more before the day is over in other parts of Arkansas, but it's a mess there in North Fort Smith, brother. North Fort Smith and Van Buren. Hopefully this moves into Oklahoma soon and out of our lives. We don't have to worry about it anymore, but guys, we really appreciate the chat comments too. the reports where we see them. So
I just question how long this is going to maintain itself. Just looking at the newest radar scan, it looks like the hail core is significantly dropping, and in the really intense winds are starting to decrease. That doesn't mean it's not still windy, but I like the way things are trending on this latest radar scan.
yeah, to me it looks like the outflow might be doing some numbers on this. Well, and also too, like you said earlier, there's no wind shear. Basic meteorology says if you don't have a whole lot of upper level wind support, your updrafts are going to eventually load up with precip and hail and die. And I think that's what's happening here. So, not to get too fancy meteorology on everybody, but a lot of times in the summer we don't have wind shear like we do in March and April or May. So that's why we don't have widespread significant tornado outbreaks in July like you do in March, in April here. So we're continuing to get comments though about the strong wind that was observed in Van Buren and Fort Smith. It's a nasty storm. So
yeah, I see somebody said kind of crazy that there was 0 chance of rain today in Van Buren. Well, there wasn't a 0% chance. There was.
Yeah, there
what have we been saying? Scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon.
Whoever that is, we got to get them the Arkansas Weather Network app. And if it was said that on the Arkansas Weather Network app, then we can go in and revise and figure out what was wrong with it, because that certainly wasn't our forecast. I think most of the state today had at least low chances. You know what I'm saying? Scattered. Today's forecast has played out really, really well. Perfect, if you ask me, given what we've been saying. So, thankfully, because forecasting doesn't always go very well. Jordan Maxwell says, I'm trying to play some sand volleyball in South Fort Smith. Well, that sounds fun. When can we play? I would give it just a little bit, Jordan. There's a lot of lightning with this storm. I wouldn't risk it. I don't think it's worth it, brother. Give it 20 or 30 minutes and let the storm pass. Alan Day says, we need the rain. Yes, some of us do. Just so we're clear, folks, this is the only warning in Arkansas. As of 5:53 p.m., we have no other severe thunderstorm warnings. Blaze, as soon as this warning is canceled, I've got 2 very hungry little boys in that living room that might rip my head off if I don't fix some dinner, some clean cooking here soon. So when we get this warning canceled, I'll probably go in there and handle that.
Yeah, I'll probably hop off as well, because then, at that point, we're just going to be dealing with heavy rain pretty much, a lot of lightning. So the NWS is advising that the core has come down on this storm, and said likely still some good winds in there, but hopefully the most intense downburst is over with this storm. So we're trending down, so that's good news.
Taylor Jones says, where is this moving? Alma? No, this already moved through Alma. This is moving off to the west-southwest now. It's kind of floating off to the west-southwest, Blaze, kind of following. It looks like it's following its outflow almost. I can loop it for you guys. I'm sorry. But it's moving off to the west-southwest toward the Oklahoma border. Vinsu Day says, I wasn't really expecting this today. You follow the Arkansas Weather Network, brother. We publish daily forecast videos on YouTube. He's commenting on YouTube. We do our best to make sure everybody's informed. So we'd love to have you follow. Download the Arkansas Weather Network app too. Thunder, wind, and rain here in Fort Smith, says Jazz Kundar. Holly Long says, can I relax now? Yeah, of course. I don't know where you're commenting from, Holly, but I hope you have a relaxing afternoon or evening. We continue, though, to monitor a stronger thunderstorm that's moving through North Fort Smith and Van Buren. Don't really anticipate this to last too incredibly long before it passes through the area. Really, the only concern now is just heavier rainfall with some stronger winds, but the storm appears to be downtrending.
Well, and something, I'm just throwing this out there. Like, if you're in Sallisaw, Spiro, Poto, even Stigler, there's a lot of instability out there to the west of this storm. And with that outflow boundary like we've got, I would not be surprised if we see another storm develop. Now, this has nothing to do with Arkansas, but just for anybody that's watching us from Oklahoma, not going to be surprised if we see a couple thunderstorms develop just to the west of this outflow boundary here in a few moments.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if this outflow boundary didn't kick up more storms. And we still have storms in central Arkansas too, and we're not trying to just focus on west central Arkansas, but folks, in Blaze, this one has a stout outflow boundary too, from Hot Springs Village all the way over to Stuttgart. So, gonna get windy before the rain ever reaches some of you down in Jefferson County, parts of Arkansas County. So we'll have to watch that closely too. We're also watching storms down near Texarkana. These are stronger storms, no warnings, with a nasty a nasty complex of storms down in Louisiana. But the only severe thunderstorm warning, we also have this up here too, Blaze. I didn't even see this earlier. Just a collection of some thunderstorms.
Someone said, "Rip my patio furniture." Ugh, hate to hear that.
Well, I wonder where that was. I wonder where they were commenting from. Dusty. I know Dusty sound. Dusty, hopefully your patio furniture. I used to work with him at Academy Sports back in the day. Good times.
Okay.
Many moons ago. Young Zach worked at the Fort Smith Academy. Betty Rick Stone says south of Lavaca, most of our wind was out of the east. Very wicked. I don't think that we're going to have a bunch of rounds of storms today, guys. If like Fort Smith, for example, we can't roll out some additional developments, but I don't foresee multiple rounds of storms impacting the area today. No. Famous last words, but no, I don't.
Zach, I think things are really trending down big time with this Fort Smith storm.
I would agree. I mean, judging by all the storms, I feel like things have downtrended quite a bit. I mean, there's still thunder and, of course, lightning, of course, and rain. But this storm was really, really mean about 45 minutes ago, brother, over Van Buren.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I definitely think things are trending down. I'm curious to see what the National Weather Service will do, if they'll cancel this warning early, or if they're just gonna kind of let it ride.
I don't know. We're starting to get reports on the Oklahoma side of this storm from west of Fort Smith, saying the wind is really picking up, and you can see that now from Spiro, Fort Coffee to Muldrow as this clears the area. I hope this outflow boundary cools us off over here. It was hot outside earlier.
I wonder if they're going to continue this warning, because if they do, it's going to continue for the next 45 minutes, Zach. It's a long warning.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be for much of Arkansas, though. The emo weather guy says, watching from a field in Dora, Oklahoma right now. Strong wind and rain. Thank you for the report. Casey Hook says, Bryant going to be all right? I think so, brother. It's just rain and thunder at this point for that area. Maybe a little windy, but guys, we really appreciate you watching the Arkansas Weather Network this afternoon. We've had some severe weather today. We appreciate you watching that with us. Really excited about our network and how things have evolved since launching in December. So the trend seems to be catching on with more and more people, and we're really excited about it. Make sure you download the Arkansas Weather Network mobile app. It's completely free on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. And the rotating banner that you see at the bottom right of your screen, it says TAMCO right now, but there's multiple businesses on there. If you see those businesses and you have an opportunity to support them when you can, you're actively supporting us as well. We appreciate all the businesses that fuel the Arkansas Weather Network. Blaze, once this thing, I think, crosses the Oklahoma border, I think we're going to be in the clear. The storm to the southeast has completely went away. As a matter of fact, Blaze, I think I'm going to pull dad privilege here and hop off and go fix my kids' dinner and let you rein it in for the next 10 minutes until it cancels, and then watch Radar from afar with you. So
that sounds good.
I've got two boys in there that are craving some Stu's clean cooking, so I'm going to go in there and fix them some Stughettis, and I'm going to fix me some food too. So
nice. Well, good job, Zach.
Yep, thanks,
we'll see
man.
ya.
I'll hop back on if anything gets wild.
All right, sounds good. All right, guys. So again, we're tracking severe thunderstorm warning And we do believe that things are trending down, especially for the Fort Smith, Van Buren area. I think the worst of this storm is now to the southwest of Van Buren, specifically over the Fort Smith area. Like we're saying, it's moving off towards the southwest, which means it'll probably be out of Arkansas over the next, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes. So we're going to continue to watch the storm very closely. We've got radar here, and we'll zoom in a little closer. And I know we've got storms across the state, but this is the strongest storm we have. It's the only storm we have that is severe at this time. So we'll stop this real quick, the movement. And so you're seeing very heavy rain. I think there could be some small hail embedded with this, but I think for the majority of this activity, it's just heavy rain, a lot of lightning, and I think there's some gusty winds on the leading edge of this. According to the National Weather Service, they're still seeing a wind signature, and we could see that too. And if we zoom in specifically between Van Buren and Oak Park, I specifically think Greenwood Junction, Oak Park, there's probably some gusty winds in this zone right here. And I'm going to circle it for you guys. So that's what our radar's showing. I don't think it's too intense. Like if you look at the wind speed, yeah, so 18, 20, maybe 25. Can't even roll out 30 miles per hour, but personally, kind of looks like things are weakening and on the right track. So as of now, the National Weather Service does not have plans to cancel this warning, but that could change. And so again, we're just kind of waiting to see what the National Weather Service wants to do with this storm. All right, I'm looking back at some comments here. Let's see, we've got, please be aware of localized flooding. Gina's right, absolutely. Because it's kind of been raining over the same area over and over again, so I certainly think that flooding is a concern with this. Autumn says, the app really helped me while traveling on the 4th. Thank you for all your work. Well, we appreciate you and trusting us here at the Arkansas Weather Network. Winds picked up in Valonia. Thank you for that report. Hello from Oklahoma. Very, very strong wind in Dora. And there's somebody getting tagged in it. So, again, just want to stress, things are looking like they're trending down, trending in the right direction. Still quite strong, and we still think it's producing some winds. I don't know that I would consider this producing severe winds, but certainly a strong thunderstorm. And I'm just kind of looking across the whole state of Arkansas. We got a special weather statement in effect for Miller and Lafayette County. We're watching that with some small hail. And then we got another storm we're watching with small hail near Grant and Jefferson County. The only two main storms that's really the concerning storms we have on radar is this one by Miller and Lafayette County, which does have a special weather statement. And then we've got the severe thunderstorm warning for the Fort Smith area. That is about it. Other places we're seeing some heavy rain, but that's really it. Really, it kind of looks like there's a new signature that I'm starting to see right here, but it's actually in Oklahoma, and it's right there near Dora, which I know technically Dora is in Arkansas, but you see where you got winds going away and winds going towards the radar site? Right there. That little, it's not a couplet, but you see the winds are almost side by side. And because of that, that indicates a downburst potential, meaning thunderstorms get strong, they become severe. Then they start to collapse on themselves because we don't have enough wind shear to hold together. So then the storms collapse and all that the wind gets pushed to the surface. So again, I want to stress that this is the only storm that we believe is producing severe weather. And even then, I think this, if it is producing some severe weather, I think it's producing it for the Oklahoma area. I still think there's some gusty winds between Van Buren and Fort Smith, but I'm not 100% certain that this is producing severe winds for that area right now. Someone said, getting spooky looking in Pine Bluff. We need the rain in St. Charles, Arkansas. Someone said a TV station reporting 35 miles per hour wind gusts currently. Yeah, I don't think it's producing 60 miles per hour. And see, that's the thing. Like, for a severe storm, it's got to be 58 miles per hour wind or greater. And I'm just not convinced we're seeing 58 right now. So I'm just kind of staying here watching radar just to see how things are trending down. But I'm telling you, it just looks to me like things are trending down. I feel like the one that hit Southeast Fayetteville today came out of nowhere and it was wild. Jessica, so we were watching things very closely, but it was very warm out there and very humid. And a little bit of a burst of energy allowed for thunderstorms to pop. And it did. It pretty much popped up in the middle of nowhere. So, yeah, it kind of. And what I mean by nowhere, I mean the population. There's a lot of population there. That's not what I'm meaning. I'm meaning that it just popped up quickly. Other side of the road is sunny and pretty clouds. Safe to drive in Fort Smith now? No. No. I mean, it kind of depends. Depends on how good of a like driver you are. But you're going to be driving into heavy rain and there's some gusty winds with this. So I would recommend just waiting a little longer. All right, so yeah, I know what you mean. It only seemed to affect that part of the town. Yeah, it was crazy. We were watching that storm earlier, and like I said, it just kind of popped up, like you said, very fast. And honestly, I thought we were going to have a severe thunderstorm warning on it. I really did, but it ended up just being a special weather statement. So we got a severe weather alert for Sebastian County until 6:45. Yeah, there's a severe thunderstorm warning still in effect for Sebastian County, but to us, it looks like things are weakening some. Definitely think the wind threat is going down with this particular storm. Amy says, "This is crazy weather." Well, it's just summertime storms. You gotta love them. And the thing is, there's just been a lot of instability out there, and that's just gonna be how it is in summertime. North Fort Smith and Van Buren, just light rain now. Thank you for that report, Andy. Rain just starting on south side of town by Walmart on Zero Street. Lightning and thunder. Thank you for that report. Yeah, so just looking at the way things are trending, I definitely think the heavy rain will pick up for Fort Smith and some gusty winds. You're not convinced we're seeing full on 58 miles per hour wind or greater, but I think we are seeing some wind out there. I just sent you a video from Dora. I think you sent it on Messenger, didn't you? Yeah. I see it right now. Let's see. Wow. That's a good video. Thank you for sending that to us. That is a good video. So again, someone said, it does this nearly every afternoon in Southwest Florida. I lived there 30 years ago. Yeah, and there's a lot of science behind that and the reasoning behind that. But there's a little difference here. But I will say, having no wind shear is playing a big factor. But the good news is, and I'll be honest with you, this is the really good news about all this rain that we're seeing and these pop-up thunderstorms, yeah, it throws a curveball in your plans, and I get that. But it cools down things so much. Like, it's very nice outside right now. If you have dealt with a thunderstorm today, go outside. You're going to feel a drop in temperature. I know at one point here at the Weather Center, where I'm at, we had temperatures almost 90 degrees. And after the rain came through and stormed for a while, we were down to 74 degrees. I was like, this is nice outside. Ripped my glasses off. Haha. Yeah, it looked pretty stormy in that video. Thank you for sharing that. Getting windy in Stuttgart. Thank you for that report, Heidi. Becky says, raining hard and lots of thunder, North Fort Smith. Thank you for that report. Tim says, knocked a tree over onto my house in northern Grant County. Oh, I hate to hear that, Tim. That's not good. I hope everybody's okay. It was a pretty intense storm there earlier. So I really personally feel like, just looking at the latest radar scan here in the Fort Smith storm, I think things continue to trend down. I mean, I'm not convinced that this thing's producing just an abundance. What I've got is I pulled up the Little Rock radar. Now I know that's far distance, but you're still seeing it. But you see where the strongest part of it is in Oklahoma. So I think heavy rain near Fort Smith right now. I think gusty winds. And I think that's about the primary threat with this storm. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a cancellation of a severe thunderstorm warning. Now let's take a radar look across the whole state, because I know there's people wanting to know about other places. And I will say we're starting to see some thunderstorms developing. There's a pretty strong storm, but I think you got to think about this. We're looking at this from the Little Rock radar site, so we're looking way up there. I think this is a lot less intense than what radar's showing. But we'll watch it. That's to the north of Pocahontas. There's another storm that is near Boone County, Marion County. Lot of lightning and thunder just to the north of Bull Shoals. Diamond City, Lead Hill. Again, Boone County area. And then we got that severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. Pretty good storm here just to the east of Texarkana. It's not severe, but near the Garland area, not Garland County, but Garland City. And so, yeah, this is pretty much what we've got right now. We'll see what the National Weather Service wants to do, but I'm not convinced they're going to keep this thing up till 6:45. I mean, they might, but I just think this thing's falling apart. Just looks like a lot of heavy rain for Fort Smith. It cooled off drastically in White County. Yeah. Our pool was 90 and air temp was much cooler. Interesting, Becky. I'll tell you, earlier today it was perfect time to go swimming until the storms hit. But sun shining and Spyro, thank you for that report. We didn't get any rain Saturday here in St. Charles, Arkansas, but it was so cool and nice Saturday evening. Yeah, definitely brought the temps. Bacola, hope I'm saying that right. Skies are beautiful right now. The clouds are so dark, pictures don't do justice. Derek says, I'm in church camp in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Do I need to worry about anything in a spotty area with Wi-Fi? Well, I hope you're enjoying church camp. Looking at radar, just kind of taking a look at stuff. There is a couple storms trying to develop north of Hot Springs. There could be some small hail. And I'm looking maybe some gusty winds, but to me, I think things are going to continue to trend down. We've still got some instability out there, but we'll watch that closely for the Hot Springs area. But I think you're okay right now. We're just kind of waiting to see what the storm does, but I think things continue to trend down. Okay, here we go. We got a new special weather statement. Will impact east central Sequoyah County. So what that makes me believe is we are probably going to see a cancellation of this severe thunderstorm warning. I don't know that for certain, but Sequoia County is where this current storm is. And so if they are adding a special weather statement, I think we're going to see this warning canceled. And I'll be honest, once this warning gets canceled, we'll throw radar back up 24/7 stream radar, keep it up on YouTube as well as our streaming channel. But there's really no reason to stay live and wall to wall coverage. I mean, these are just regular storms. But we're staying on this storm until it completely gets removed of its severe thunderstorm warning. All right, let's see. Wind is wild north of Roland. Thank you for that report. Sun shining in Spiro. Oh, yeah, I already read that one. Let's see. Super windy in Muldrow and barely sprinkling. Jessica says trees down in neighborhoods in northern Van Buren. So we'll see what the National Weather Service does. But guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're in Fort Smith, I think this storm is winding down. I think it's kind of been on its last leg for the last few minutes, and I think it continues to fall apart. There might be a little stronger part near Roland. I know somebody was commenting about that, but I really feel like, I really feel like things are winding down here. Like I said, still got that special weather statement in effect for Sequoia County, which again, Sequoia County is not in Arkansas, but it is right beside Arkansas. It's on the Oklahoma-Arkansas line. So, and I'm seeing more people popping in asking questions about that area. So, Mary says, thanks for the coverage. You're welcome. We appreciate you tuning in the broadcast. Sarah says, just want y'all to know that no one really covers weather here and well, we appreciate you trusting us. We appreciate you following us, watching us. And that's what we're here for. That's where the Arkansas Weather Network, our goal is to cover every part of Arkansas. And even if you're not in Arkansas, if there's a storm that impacts Arkansas, but you're on the line, we're going to be talking about it. And that's like right now. We've got technically a severe thunderstorm warning for the Fort Smith area, but we're watching the Oklahoma area too, specifically Roland, Oklahoma, because that's connected with the storm. North of Roland is crazy. Yeah, we got a bunch of people tuning in here from Oklahoma, Roland, Oklahoma, it appears. And that's why we're here. North of Roland is crazy. Wild wind, a pea-sized hail. Thank you for that report. So let's just see what the National Weather Service continues to do with this storm. I mean, like I said, I have reason to believe that things will continue to trend down. I'm kind of surprised that we still have this warning in play, but I guess kind of with the environment we've got. So see, there's that special weather statement for this part of the storm here by Roland. So this part to me looks like it's falling apart right now. I want to zoom out here. And you see, that's kind of the main storm we're tracking. There's a few other areas that we're keeping an eye on, but that's about it right now. Let me zoom back in here. Taylor says, we live north of Roland and watch y'all before any news outlet. Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate your trust. We appreciate you following us here. Like I said, we want to be ahead of the game. We want to be ahead of the storms and keep you updated. One thing that really sets us apart, there's several things, but one thing that we really pride ourselves on is the fact that we're interactive with everybody. We can receive your comments, we can receive your reports, but we can also go live anytime we want. So if there's a storm and it's life threatening, we're going live on it. And we can go live even before the storm even hits. So we have a lot of flexibility and a lot of freedom. All right. So with that being said, for the people in Roland, because there's a lot of you, you're seeing very heavy rain. I think there's some small hail embedded with this and some gusty winds. So there's that special weather statement. I really feel like we're going to see a cancellation of the severe thunderstorm warning for the Fort Smith area. I really do. I really do. Could you update us on storm tracks? Which storm are you talking about, Dixie? Are you talking about the Fort Smith storm? If you are, the storm's moving into Oklahoma. It's moving out of Arkansas right now. NWS is typing right now, so I'm wondering if we're fixing to see a cancellation of Fort Smith to get removed in this warning. We'll see. We'll see what they do here. Is what's going on in Roland? No, so what's in Roland is actually going away from Fort Smith. All right, so the NWS is stating that they are going to likely transition back to significant weather advisories for these storms. So that is great news. That tells me that we are probably going to see a cancellation coming for the severe thunderstorm warning that's currently in effect for the Fort Smith area. So I'm telling you, that is really great news right now. So that should tell everybody, if you're in this area, that these storms are calming down some. And I hope that's how the pattern's going to be for the next few hours. With as much outflow boundaries as we've got, it's probably going to spark some more thunderstorms. However, to us, it looks like things continue to trend down. So we're going to stay on this storm. But, I mean, to me, it looks like things are really falling apart. Is it winding down everywhere in the state for the evening? Well, here's the thing. Here's what we got to think about, guys. Okay, so here's what they're going to do. They're fixing okay, so there's the update. They went ahead and they're continuing severe thunderstorm warning for Sebastian County, southeastern Sequoia County, and northeastern LaFleur counties. The thing to note is these storms are strictly based on daytime heating. That's what's going on. Got really warm, really fast. So what does that mean? As the sun goes down, which we are a long time before we see the sunset, but we do believe that some of that energy is starting to fall apart. We're starting to lose that energy. And that's why we think these storms are going to start to die down. I think it's still storming in the evening. I definitely think that's a possibility because there's still some storm fuel out there. But I do think we're kind of trending down. I mean, to give you an example, we have no significant weather advisories in Arkansas anymore. The only severe thunderstorm warning we have is this current one for Sebastian County. And I mean, it is barely Sebastian County right now. And I'll be honest with you, the strongest part of this storm is in Oklahoma and is now to the southwest of Roland right now with what I'm seeing on radar. So, like I said, we're going to stay on this as long as we need to, but I just think things are really trending down, and that's great news, especially if you're in the middle of this storm. Saved by His Grace says, will anything kick up on the outflow boundaries later tonight or tomorrow? Well, it kind of depends on the areas that see outflow boundaries, but again, as it cools out there, meaning that the sun goes down, that should eliminate a lot of these thunderstorms from developing. So I think we'll see a significant drop in activity over the next couple hours. I mean, we're already starting to see it. Like I said, we've only got this one severe thunderstorm warning, and really the severe part of this storm is completely out of Arkansas at this point. So we're just staying live. The fact that we have people in Oklahoma, right near the Arkansas Oklahoma border, and I want to keep an eye on things, as well as there is currently a severe thunderstorm warning for Sebastian County. But again, I just want to stress this. I mean, the worst and most intense part of this storm is not even in Arkansas anymore. It's in Oklahoma. Yeah, we can look at Pine Bluff Storm. That's the thing. This is where Arkansas Weather Network, because we can see your comments and interaction, we say your town matters. If you're concerned about a storm, we're going to look at it. We'll let you know. So let's look at Pine Bluff. I think that's what you said. Yeah, Pine Bluff Storm. Okay. Yeah. Let's look at that here. The cool thing is, like, you can ask questions, and we're literally going to look at that exact area. So here's Pine Bluff. So I think the strongest part of this storm has went past Whitehall now. I think it's over Pine Bluff right now. To me, looks like there's some thunder, there's some lightning with this storm. Let's see if there's any wind here. Not seeing much. No wind shear. Yeah. See if there's no hail with this either. So just kind of looks like a regular thunderstorm. And here's that outflow boundary. Really well defined here on radar. I'll draw it right there. So, and we see what's happening. It's sparking a few storms. Here's one by Star City, one just to the south of Horizon. So there's another. There's outflow boundaries all over the place, and that's kind of how it is in summer. So, all right. Well, we still have a warning. Still have an active warning on the board for Fort Smith. But I mean, the worst of this is out of Arkansas. Someone, what username is that? Just okay. It says I was just in that storm. Amanda says thank you for going live. Got really windy and rain in Muldrow. You're welcome. I was literally saw. Oh wow, wow. Well, hope you're okay now. I hate to hear that. I think you're talking about the Fort Smith storm, right? Appreciate it. I'm in Walmart and it sounds rough. Buggies was flying. Ooh, yeah. I mean, there might be some gusty winds out there, but you know, from a standpoint of looking at what we saw in Fort Smith compared to Pine Bluff, there's really no comparison at all. Let's see. Does it look like we're going to have anything else in Morrilton tonight? You know, personally, I just don't see much. And here's why. I think we got a lot of rain cooled air out there. We've lost our instability, the majority of it. So, someone asking about Hot Springs. And Hot Springs Village. So there's some thunderstorms developing to the northwest of Hot Springs. See where the outflow boundary is? The outflow boundary is out ahead of it. And so that's why I'm thinking, I think they just canceled the severe thunderstorm warning. Yes, they did. The first time in, let's see, how long have we been live for? Let's see. Okay, we just passed the 2-hour mark. So we've been live for over 2 hours, tracking severe storms. But thankfully, the severe thunderstorm warnings have all been canceled. No special weather statements either. So we're trending in the right direction. I like it. Anyways, what I was saying about Hot Springs and Hot Springs Village, real quick, is that there is that storm to the northwest of Hot Springs, and it is kind of transitioning and heading towards that direction. However, primary threats is gusty winds, a lot of lightning, some thunder, but a lot of heavy rain. That's pretty much it. But like I said, the outflow boundary is out ahead of it, probably going to undercut it. And what that means, and just I'm going to make this as simple as possible. It makes it collapse. It kills the storm. So because it needs that warm, humid air, and it ends up being cold. And what happens when cold and cold? Nothing. So you need warm and you need cold. And if it's just cold, it's just boom, nothing. So that was as simple as I can get it. I could get it really advanced, but we're not gonna do that. Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna continue to watch things very closely. I just want to restate. I know there's people watching from Oklahoma. I just want to let you know that the National Weather Service, as of right now, is not going to issue any more severe thunderstorm warnings as of right now for this storm that is now to the northeast of. I don't know why I said northeast. Scratch that. Okay, I'm talking about the storm that is in Muldrow, Roland, and that is to the west. That's what I'm trying to say. West of Fort Smith. So, all right, guys. Well, there's really no reason to continue to stay live and do wall-to-wall coverage because at this point, this is just regular thunderstorms. Real quick, for the recap, we've got that stronger storm that is, again, out of Fort Smith in Oklahoma now. We've got a couple more thunderstorms developing to the north of Hot Springs. We're watching that. A lot of lightning near the Pine Bluff area. There's some storms near Texarkana. There's also some storms in northeast Arkansas. So radar's still pretty busy. We're seeing more development on radar. But again, I want to stress this, that over the next several hours, things should continue to trend down. Could we see another isolated severe storm? I think it's certainly possible, but the risk continues to go lower. So thank y'all so much for tuning into the broadcast. Appreciate it. I'm meteorologist Blaze Thomas with the Arkansas Weather Network, and we just appreciate your trust and support here. So we're going to go ahead and end this stream. I'm seeing a lot of comments, people thankful that we've got coverage, and absolutely, that is our goal at the Arkansas Weather Network, is to keep you informed. And yes, we do cover the whole state, but we can go localized in specific areas, and we will. So just because we cover the whole state doesn't mean we're going to be focused on one specific area. If there's numerous severe thunderstorm warnings, we are going to cover all of those warnings and let you know. We're not going to just focus on one area. We're going to focus on every area. That's why if you are in the border of Arkansas, we've got you covered. Again, I'm meteorologist Blaze Thomas with the Arkansas Weather Network. Thank you so much for trusting us here. And download our app. We're going to remain live with radar 24/7 on YouTube, Arkansas Weather Network. That's going to remain up, as well as our streaming app, streaming channel is going to stay up as well. So we will end the stream on our socials. That's what we're on right now, as well as our app and all that. But if you're on our app, you're on our YouTube, all that, that's going to remain. That will stay up with radar. So it'll go to music, but you'll be able to see our live radar. Guys, we'll see you later. Thanks for trusting us.